The ocean keeps secrets, but that night it felt like it wanted to talk. Wind rushed over the pier and the moon hung over black water. We stood in a line, boots tight. I took the end spot, smaller than most, but not small inside. People doubted me since day one. They handed me the lightest pack and called me kid. I didn't answer with words. I showed up. In the shadows by the railing stood the SEAL commander. His eyes caught every move, every breath out of rhythm. The boards creaked under him, but his stare never wavered. I felt it on my shoulder, then gone, then back. Below us, waves hit the pilings and broke like glass. Tonight is simple, the instructor said. Swim, climb, signal, extract. 4 tasks, no excuses. The guys straightened. Simple, I thought. Simple like a locked door with 10 keys. I rolled my shoulders. This was why I came. We hit the water first. Cold closed around my chest and squeezed. I kept my breath slow. Long in, long out. The moon laid a silver path over the waves, and I followed it like a road. Someone splashed and cursed. A shape slid below me. Don't look down. Look forward. I pulled and kicked, sighting on the rope light near the buoy. The cold turned from pain to a sharp buzz that woke me up. At the buoy, I turned to the low seawall. Climb time. My fingers were stiff, but the wall had rungs like a rusted ladder. Salt burned my knuckles. I found quick holds and moved up, breath quiet. Someone below slipped and hit the water with a slap. You good? I asked, not stopping. Fine, he said. I rolled over the top and dropped to the deck. The signal task came next. We had to find a packet in a maze of old sheds, then flash a coded light 3 times toward the pier. Fog slicked the maze, smelling of rope and oil. My headlamp stayed off. Too much light would wash my night sight. I counted steps. Right at 16, left at 9, right at 5. I saw a faint chalk mark, slipped inside, felt along a shelf, and found the packet. Voices floated through the fog. She got it already? A guy said. She can't keep that pace. Another answered. Watch her. She'll choke on the extract. I smiled in the dark. The extract was the last task. Dash to the road, climb a barbed fence, and ride a rope down to the sand. Fast and easy to bleed if you got sloppy. I did not plan to bleed. I moved fast and quiet. At the fence, I hooked my gloves and pushed up with care, slipping my pack over the wire. A siren wailed on the highway. I dropped to the other side, clipped into the rope, and rode down smooth. Sand puffed under my boots. At the mark, I climbed into the pickup bed and slapped the cab twice. The driver took off with no lights. We rattled along the beach. Back at the pier, the truck braked. I jumped down. The SEAL commander stepped from shadow, and the others lined behind him, faces pale in the moon glow. He didn't speak at first. He looked at sand on my knees and the salt on my jaw. He looked past me at the team. You all done? He asked. One by one, they stepped in. Some had torn sleeves. One left a line of blood on the deck. The big swimmer from Texas came last, chest heaving. His eyes cut toward me, then away. The instructor nodded. She was first, he said. She was, the commander said, but that's not the point. He walked closer. A small trident tattoo sat near his wrist. He stopped in front of me. What did you miss? He asked. My heart tripped. Sir? I said. What did you miss? He repeated. I ran through the tasks: swim, climb, signal, extract. I had done each one. No errors, no drops. I kept my gear. I did what we were told. The team watched me with a quiet hunger. I don't know, I said. He tilted his head. Look around. I looked. Lamps threw soft halos. The tide slid out, leaving lace on the sand. I don't see it, I said. He nodded. Then I'll show you. He walked to the edge and pointed down. Under the boards, a small red light blinked, faint as a heartbeat. I stared. A test device. A trap. His face stayed calm. That light was placed where you would pass twice, he said. You were trained to notice changes. You watched the moon. You watched the fence. You counted steps. You didn't watch the water. Heat rose in my face. I had watched for what I expected and missed what I did not. I see it now, I said. Good, he said. Because somewhere, sometime, that light is a phone in a window, or a cigarette on a porch, or a red dot where it doesn't belong. If you miss it, someone who trusts you may pay for it. The wind made the rope sing. My pride cracked, but a door opened too. He turned, then stopped. One more thing, he said. Who set that light? A murmur ran through the line. Who set it? The sheds were locked. The pier was watched. We had been in the water. The instructor had been with us. The commander had been here in view. So who? I followed his eyes. He had watched the team and he had watched me, but his gaze kept sliding to the pier shop with the faded bait sign. Its door was cracked, though the place was closed. A thin sliver of light cut across the boards like a pale knife. Sir, I said, throat tight. We're not alone. Something moved inside, soft as breath, and the light wavered once, then stilled. The commander's hand went up, just one finger, and the whole team froze. Even the waves seemed to hush. The light inside the shack flickered again, then died. The commander moved first, slow but certain, boots soundless on the boards. I followed without thinking, my pulse hammering in my ears. The others fanned out behind us. No orders needed. Something about his calm made every breath sharper, every sound more alive. He eased the door open with 2 fingers. Hinges squeaked just once before his hand stopped them. Inside, the smell hit us. Salt, oil, and something metallic. Old. A lantern rocked on a nail, shadows jerking across nets and crates. On the floor sat a small black case, open and wired. Not explosives. A signal box, blinking faintly. Someone had been testing us, or watching us. Seal it, he said. The instructor knelt, cutting power. It's ours, he whispered. Shouldn't be on yet. The commander turned, his eyes sweeping the corners. Then who armed it? No one answered. I looked at the footprints in the dust, fresh, smaller than any of ours, pointing toward the back door. My throat tightened. Someone left, I said. Not long ago. He followed my gaze and nodded once. Track, he ordered. We moved fast. The prints ran down the ramp toward the dunes, clear in the sand. Then, halfway down, they vanished, washed clean by the tide. Only a faint trail of wet marks led into the reeds. The moon slipped behind a cloud, and the world went dim. The wind shifted. Somewhere, metal clinked. The commander raised his hand again. We spread out. My flashlight beam cut through the reeds and caught a figure crouched by a small radio, face half covered, pressing a button. Stop, I shouted. The figure bolted. I ran. Sand sprayed behind me. My lungs burned, but I was faster. He veered toward the jetty, but the commander was already there, blocking him like a wall. The man skidded to a stop, panic in his eyes. The commander stepped forward, one hand on his sidearm. Who are you? He said, voice low but edged with steel. The man hesitated. Then something flashed in his hand. A flare gun. He fired, wild. The shot went wide, screaming red into the sky. Before the echo died, the commander moved like lightning. One strike, and the flare gun clattered to the ground. The man dropped, pinned. The flare burned overhead, painting everything in blood-colored light. When the light faded, we saw his face. Young, maybe 20. Civilian clothes. Fear in every line. The commander's voice was quiet but hard. You're not part of this. Who sent you? Who? The man shook his head. I just fix radios. Someone paid me. Said to leave that light by the pier. I didn't know you do. He broke off as the commander's gaze cut through him. You didn't know, the commander repeated, almost like a question to the night. Then he looked at me. You see now why we test for what isn't written on the board? I nodded slowly. The truth sank in. This wasn't just a drill. It was a mirror. They wanted to see who would react when things broke pattern, who would notice what was not supposed to exist. The man was taken away by base security before dawn. We stood on the beach watching the sky pale from indigo to pink. No one spoke. The water was still, almost gentle, as if the sea was pretending it hadn't just hidden secrets all night. The commander finally turned to us. "Training's over," he said, "but the lesson's not." The others glanced at me, then away. I could feel the weight of what had changed, not rank or score, but something quieter. Respect, maybe, earned 1 inch at a time. He walked beside me as we headed back. "You followed your instincts," he said. "Then you saw what you missed. That's what makes a real operator, not perfection, but correction." I didn't answer. My voice would have cracked if I did. The wind carried the gulls' cries across the surf, and for the first time all night, I let myself breathe. A week later, orders came for field deployment tests. I didn't think he'd remember me, but when I entered the lineup, the commander stood there again. This time, he called my name first. "You'll lead the recon team," he said. "Same drills, new terrain." Some of the guys looked surprised. One even smirked, like he expected me to trip on my own boots. I just nodded, grabbed my pack, and moved out. The ocean was miles away now, but its echo followed. The sound of waves and warnings and all the things I'd missed before. We flew out that afternoon. The landscape below was a sweep of desert, endless and gold. The heat hit like a fist when we landed. The mission was clear: find the beacon, extract and signal within the window. Easy words for a hard job. By dusk, we were deep in silence. I took point, the sand crunching under my boots. The horizon shimmered with mirage light. My team spread out in a loose V, eyes scanning. Every rock looked like movement, every shadow like a lie. I kept my focus where it needed to be, on the subtle things, the ones I'd once ignored. An hour in, we found the beacon's casing buried halfway in a dune. It wasn't active yet. I crouched and brushed the sand away. "Something's off," I said. "No footprints nearby, no drag marks. But the surface is smooth, too smooth." The big Texan knelt beside me. "Wind could have done that." "Maybe," I said. "But wind doesn't cover wire tracks." I pointed to a faint curved line under the sand. He blinked, then nodded. "You think it's wired?" I didn't think. I knew. I called for a probe. When the tech swept it, the detector beeped, low and steady. The beacon was rigged, a decoy meant to pull us close. I backed the team out 5 meters, slow and calm. "Whoever set this wants eyes right here," I said. "Which means they're watching." A sound cracked behind us, a stone, tumbling. The Texan swung around. Nothing, just the wind. But the commander's voice came through the radio, low and steady. "Hold position. They're testing your response. Remember the pier. Remember the pier. The red light. The unseen eyes." My pulse steadied. "Copy that," I said. Then to the team. "We're going wide. 200 meters. Sweep from the east." We moved, 1 step at a time. The sun dropped fast, shadows growing like roots across the sand. I scanned every flicker, every whisper of movement. Then I saw it, a glint in the dunes, faint but sharp. Not metal. Glass. A lens. I dropped flat and whispered, "Spotter, 11 o'clock." The sniper scope vanished, too late. The Texan covered our flank, rifle up. Silence stretched, long and dangerous. Then came the shot. It split the air like tearing silk, and the world snapped into motion.